Alright, welcome back. So we are here now to finally finish this code here, and I'll write down the function that we're going to be looking at. We have my void function. We have one function left to write, and this is going to be get. I can't remember the order. I said this in the other video, I think. I said get press temp, and then I can't even remember the order that I put these in. So double check your code to make sure these orders are correct. I'm going to do star temp and star press. These could be flip-flopped. The code itself for this program is not going to change. It's just a matter of when you call this in the other programs, the order you put them in will change. Alright, so we have our little open parenthesis here. So now we've got my coefficients read in. That's what we did in the previous class. I'm now ready to actually finally take measurement. But let's go back to the data sheet here. And if I go into this data sheet here, I'm going to scroll up here. Notice that we had here this address called convert. Now I'm not going to remember the macro we get for that, but I think we might have just called it convert or MPL convert, something like that. But we are going to need to first call that in order for us to do a temperature measurement. And so the first thing we have to do here, first thing I need to do, I hit the wrong button there for a second, I need to get back to the program here, is I'll put this in green, is we need to perform measurement. Now, I'm going to put these in red here again, some shorthands that I'm going to use because I'm writing code out here. We have I2C, master, read byte is simply going to be equal to read byte I2C underscore I2C master write byte is going to be just write byte. I2C underscore I2C master send start is just going to be send start, and I2C underscore I2C master send stop is just going to equal send stop. Now again, this isn't anything you'd put in your code, this is just for this video. Okay, so in this code here, the first thing is we need to perform a temperature measurement. So maybe I should write that down again here. Start temperature measurement. Start temperature and pressure measurement. Okay, well then what do we do here? Well, we need to first start up my I2C. So I'm going to do send start. And then remember, you have to do the address of the device. And I think that's what we had as our macro. But whatever the macro is, that's what we would use. And just to put in comments here, remember the actual address for this device is 60, and we stored that in a macro. Then we're going to write a byte, and again I don't remember what this macro was off the top of my head, but I'm going to write a byte, and I'm going to write, I think it might be MPL115A2 convert. You'll want to check in your own header file to see what the macro was. And if we looked at the datasheet, I'm not going to flip back there. Basically what we're sending to it is 0x12 because that's the command to actually have the sensor perform a measurement. And then we're basically going to do a send stop. Now we're ready to read the pressure and temperature data in. Well, in order to read that pressure and temperature data in first, we need to set the pointer to the correct memory address. So it seems silly that we sent a stop and now we're going to have to send another start. Oh, I made a big mistake here. We have to put this, whoops, got to a different class here, just a second. There we are, we're back. I just hit a different tab on my notebook here and I went to Calc 1 here. But what I was saying, we have an error here. I forgot to write here that we need to put this in write mode. So I'm going to squeeze this in here. Alright, I forgot to put that there. And then we now need to set the pointer, so we're going to do a send start. MPL115A2 address write. I think it was all, and it might not have been right, it might have been MPL115A2 right. I don't remember what we used as the macro. And then we're going to write a byte. What byte are we going to write? Well, let's go back to the data sheet for a second here. If I go back to the data sheet, well, what do I want to read in here? I want to read in my pressure. So I should set it for PADC MSB. So I'm going to set this for PADC MSB. And then send stop. And I really should put parentheses here. Alright. So all of this was just to get the measurement done and then also to get the conversion done and then get the pointer to the correct memory address, the register. So now we have to read the data in. And let's go ahead and look again at the data sheet to see what kind of data we're reading in. No signed bits, 10 total bits, and they're all integers. That actually makes life a little bit easier for us, believe it or not. So what we're going to do here, first off, is we're going to do an unsigned, let me get back to black, an unsigned int, because in this case I don't need the signed bit, so an unsigned int and I'm going to call this press data, and then an unsigned int temp data. Now you could have put these at the top of the function, and actually probably good coding practice would have had us do that, but since I'm writing it by hand, I'm not going to go up there and erase and everything else like that, but you could easily insert these at the top of this function. And now we're just going to go ahead and do the same kind of reading that we did before. So we're going to do send start MPL115A2 address. This time we're doing a read. And then we're going to say, well, let's see, let's go ahead and do it in multiple lines again. So press data would equal read byte. We have to give it an acknowledgement. And remember, I didn't put the shortcut there, but remember from the previous video that ACK is actually I2C underscore I2C underscore ACK underscore data. But there is a macro for that as well. So press data is read byte, and then we have to bit shift this 8 spots to the left. And that reads in the most significant byte. And then we'll do an OR equals, press data OR equals. We're going to read in the least significant byte now. And then how many bit shifts to the right do we have to do? Well, this is where we go back to the data sheet. And we can see here it's 10 total bits. I've read it into a 16-bit integer. Did I actually say that? I might have to fix my code here a second. But we should be reading it into a 16-bit integer. And so I only have 10, so that means I'd have to shift it to the right 6 spots. And I did not say I need to insert into here. Those are unsigned int 16s. So press data is equal to press data, bit shift it back to the right 6 spots. Now, we could have done this in one line like we said in the previous video, but now we need to do the temperature one, which is going to be the exact same. Just quickly rewriting this all down. Probably wasn't necessary to do this, but just wanted to make sure. Alright, so we've read all the data in, so now we should send a stop. Don't ever forget to send a stop once you're done either writing or reading data. Very easy thing to forget to do. Alright, well, I'm actually going to end this video right here because, again, I don't want to make it too long. And we are almost there. The last thing we have to do is just take these two things. Using the data sheet, there's formulas for how to actually convert these